in school. I had a school music teacher that liked my voice, and she said, "You're gonna be a $1 million singer one of these days." And I thought, well, she's got it wrong. We was on the farm out here on 42, the old brick farm out there, and then we moved from that farm. We had 186 acres here on 539, right up out of West Salem here. And my dad, he farmed, and also he had a milk route on Saturday night. WSMM, yeah. Old Grand Ole Opry, it'd come in, yeah, we'd listen to it. And it was kind of ironic. The electric went out, we had a storm, and we wanted to listen to the Grand Ole Opry, so I had an old car radio. And I got a battery and I hooked it all up so we could listen to the Grand Ole Opry on the car radio on the battery at the house. I was kind of using a little ingenuity because we didn't have electric one out, see. So we still was able to listen. So yeah, and my mother, she liked it, and my dad liked it, so it was kind of in the family. I hear the trader rolling around. Joined the United States Marine Corps. I got kind of bored at night. I didn't know what to do. A lot of guys played cards, and they went out a date or something, and I basically stayed in the barracks. And I thought, boy, what could I do? Yeah. So this friend of mine, his name was Mike Kalkbrenner. He was out of McKeesport, Pennsylvania. And he had an old Dixie guitar, and he was banging on it. And I thought, that would be something for me to try to do. So I bought the guitar off of him for $10. So I started banging on it, started watching Ed Sullivan show, and watched some of the talent playing the guitar, and watched how they chorded on it. And I started teaching myself, so that's where I picked it up at. And as I progressed a little bit, I sang with it, and that's how I got started playing the guitar. I was an MP 3 years in the Naval Shipyard there in Portsmouth, Virginia, and that's where I met my wife. I put 30 years in law enforcement, and just wasn't quite enough money to support the family and 2 sons I wanted to put through college, and thought, well, what could I do? Well, I drove race car, super stock and late models for 12 years. I made money at that. And I thought, well, that's pretty dangerous. Why don't I do something a little more milder? So I started singing, and I formed me a small band. I used to do all the fairs. Medina Fair, Lorain County Fair, Knox Fair, but I just kind of kept it a round robin of the fairs. Kind of got myself scheduled out.
He's been doing off about 20 years, just starting to sing. But it's been upon about maybe 10 to 12 years where we started going around and singing.
And she was a ringleader. She done very, very well.
I was the stage manager. I set the stages up. I set the crew up. I got all the jobs for him. And I took very good care of him. That's what my job was. We had friends who lived in Nashville, like Vince Gill. Of course, we visit with him. And then, of course, he came up here and did a fair, and we visited with him at the fair.
Vince was there at Lorain County. And this JR, he's the one that does the promoting for the entertainment for the fairs. And Vince's bus was there, and he stopped me. He said, hey, you can't go back there. He ain't seeing nobody. I said, well, I know him personally. Oh, everybody says that. I said, well, I'm not just saying that. So it just happened. Now, Vince, he had a knee problem at the time, and he had to sit down, but he was coming off the bus, and I said, hey, Vince, I'd like to talk to you. And he looked at me, Uncle Bob, come on over. That JR said, you do know him? I said, I told you I knew him. He's a good golfer. Yeah, he beat the Calhoun boys, both of them.
I enjoyed all the people that we met, and we've had such a wonderful time. With Willie, David Allen Coe, we've met Vince Gill.
Oh, Willie and all of us, we'd go out there and we would hang out. He had a nice big building there, something like this porch, and we'd have our pig roast. He had 2 or 3 big roasters, and well, he had 12 or 15 little cottages. And as you might know, Florida's hot. And each one of them cottages, you had running water in, you had air conditioning, you know, and you had the bed and everything where we had guests in while they would stay in the cottage. But he also had 2 Indian teepees. And people would eat, you know, the teepees was nice. I mean, nothing fancy, but just a regular Indian teepee. And where do you think Willie stayed? In the teepee. Colombian. Oh, Colombian grass, yes. But I never indulged in it because I didn't want to get involved in it. But with the marijuana, you know.
We came back to Nashville, spent a couple of days in Nashville. Bob sung on the Opry.
That's the old Ryman. When you're on stage there, you can't see that good, but it goes up, the balconies go up, you know. It's kind of rounded. Well, it used to be like a church or something. Yeah, so. But it was great. I enjoyed it. When you accomplish that, it makes you feel good. Lynn Owsley wanted me to move down there, and a guy by the name of Roy Acuff, he was doing the new Grand Ole Opry then, and he wanted me to come down, and he's going to get a hold of Roy and get me a place. And I said, nah, I'd rather just live right up here in Ohio. I like the changes of the weather. I'm just an old farm boy. You can tell that. This old farmhouse here, this actually was a log cabin. There was 2 rooms downstairs and 1 up. Wow. So I started throwing it together and nailing it and sawing it, and this is what I got now. But nothing fancy. I've never been a fancy man. Something just livable, and that's it. And my wife's the same way. She's out of Virginia, and she's an old farm gal, so we kind of clicked and we're together.
I've had a wonderful, enjoyable life with Bob. I couldn't have asked. I love him dearly. We've been married 48 years, and I hope we'll celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. Yeah, he's a good guy, very good guy. So I don't want to kill him yet. I'd say things like that, you know, because I love him to death. I really do. Oh, Robert, you're a ham. I'm telling you.
I'm a ham?
You're a ham.
Big ham?
kissed you on it.
I didn't know that. There she goes. She's walking away. And each step she takes. Old age is catching up with me. I'm not as good as I used to be. When you get the old crow's feet, why? You just you don't do as good, and you kind of fall by the wayside. And the new people, you know, they come in and they take over, which is the way it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So you just gotta accept it. There she goes.
No regrets. He did everything in his life that he wanted to do.
Well, I made it a point because you only come this way once, you know. Yeah, you only come this way once. Started loving you. Oh, loving you again. Today I
Robert, you are crazy, I'm telling you.
Today I
Whoever she shows that to is going to think you're the craziest man in the world.
it helps.
Great.
You're rocking too fast.